Thank you very much for joining us. I have to ask you this question. You in college were a music major, so how does someone go from being a music major to an astronaut? What is that journey about?
Aside from being just a brilliant individual that just made the transition. No, in all seriousness. Yeah, I was a music major in college because I thought that when you went to college, let's back up a little bit. In school, when I came through school, there were no programs at that time to introduce kids to engineering and science and physics. I was always interested in technology and things, but I didn't know what an engineer was. I was a very good musician. And I got a scholarship to go to school to study music. But while in college, I sort of discovered engineering. My roommate was an engineering major. And I thought, yeah, I'm supposed to be doing that. So I started taking math and science and engineering courses as an overload. So that was my segue into it. I had gone too far through undergraduate school to finish two majors. Finished my music degree, went into the Navy. The Navy sent me back to school to finish my engineering degree and then advanced degrees in engineering. So that's kind of how it happened.
When you were growing up, did you have this boyhood dream of, I would like to be an astronaut?
No, when I was growing up, I was fascinated by airplanes and spaceships. I watched them on TV and on the movies. I built what models I could. Again, we didn't have the real nice facilities in my neighborhood to build really nice model airplanes, but I did what I could. I was always fascinated by and loved space shows on TV, but I never thought I could do it. It just wasn't a reality. Didn't see anybody that looked like me flying airplanes. So the answer is it wasn't a reality to me. It was like watching a Superman or Batman on TV. It's cool, but I can't do it. It wasn't a reality until quite a few years later.
And so what prepared you for this career? Was it your career in the Navy or what was it?
Well, first of all, I have to back up. I came from a family that valued education. Our parents taught us kids that education had to be number one in your life before you did any other activities, sports or music or whatever. So they saw to it that we got a good, solid education. I was always a good math and English student, a good student all the way around, but I had a good math propensity. So that prepared me in one way. And then the all parents also taught us that if there's something you want, you have to go for it and don't give up. You persevere, you stay the course. And so that's what did it. And like I said, in college, I began to take math and science and physics and all that as an overload to my music classes. So I was taking 19, 20, 21 hours per quarter because I was studying calculus in addition to music theory. And I enjoyed it. It was fun for me. So the biggest preparation I think is one of drive, of internal desire and perseverance. And then all of the technical stuff comes later. If a person has that perseverance and focus, they can do anything.
And so what do you say to our students with UNCF? Because some of them have come from families where no one has ever gone to college before, no one has focused on education or told them to dream big dreams. So if they don't have that in their life, what is your message to them?
My message to them is just what they've heard before, and what I'm saying right now is that anything is possible. That truly is the message. Anything is possible if, number one, you're prepared for it, and number two, you take advantage of the opportunities when they come along. I challenge students to, first of all, be excellent, study, learn as much as you can, expose yourself to as many different fields of study as you can, as many different people as you can, and I urge them not to be afraid. So too often I'll talk to young people, and it's unfortunate that a lot of young people who say this, are our own people, people of color. They ask questions like, "Were you afraid? Were you scared in space?" No, I tell you, don't be afraid. Life is not about being afraid. Young people should be bold, be daring, be bold, find something you want and go for it. So those are the messages I try and get across to it. The technical things will come later if you have that boldness, that perseverance, and the desire and the drive.
When you look back at your life and you think about, I have been an astronaut, I have been in outer space, is it for you like, wow, I can't believe I accomplished all that? Or is it like, I kind of knew my life would have this trajectory?
It's a little bit of both. Even though as growing up, I didn't think specifically I would become an astronaut. I always thought that I could do something outstanding. I didn't know what it was. I thought my outstanding accomplishment would be in music. I thought I was going to be a Quincy Jones or a Henry Mancini or a Miles Davis. That's what I thought. But I always thought I could do something unusual and something out of the ordinary. So when I look back on my life, I am awed because I've been blessed to be one of very few people who've done what I've done. But at the same time, I believe that it was ordained for me way back when, and that it was coming, it was going to happen. But again, this is hindsight, looking at it in hindsight.
I think people would be interested about your book. I love the title, but tell us a little bit about the book.
Yes, the book is called Reflections from Earth Orbit, and it actually is a book about my life, but it's not your typical autobiography. What I try to do is take the reader into space with me. I describe, for example, my ascent on my first flight from Earth into orbit on the space shuttle. And while we're there, I remember or reflect on various happenings in my life as I was growing up. So I take the reader into space with me and then tell them a little bit about the background and the upbringing of Winston Scott while we're flying in space. And I think it's been a great approach. I've had wonderful feedback and reviews on the book. Now, I'm not getting rich off the book, but but people who read it have enjoyed it. It's called Reflections from Earth Orbit. I think it's a pretty good read.
And the other thing I want to know is, after you have been an astronaut, then what do you do? What is life post being an astronaut about for you?
Being an astronaut actually changes your life. It changes your life in so many ways. I, One of the things that I always try to do is not let what I do become who I am. You with me? So many people,
Exactly.
so many people spend their lives. What they do is who they are. Athletes, particularly. Then, when they can no longer do whatever it is, they're lost. So I always wanted to have the idea that what I did is only a small part of who I am. So post-active astronaut days, I do some of everything. I've worked at, in fact, I work at a university now. I'm a university vice president and professor, and I play music. I do still play music. I actually play and write and arrange music. I'm a professor of music at Florida Tech and professor of aeronautics. I have an active speaking schedule, so I do a lot of public speaking and a lot of music playing. I still fly, even though I'm not active duty anymore. I was a fighter pilot in the Navy, but I still fly a lot. And I spend time as much as I can with students. COVID has put a damper on that, but I have a couple of students that I'm actually mentoring by distance learning right now. So life is full of activities. There's no shortage of things to do. And I just so happy and so blessed to be living the kind of life that I do.
So you're not sitting around in the rocking chair or fishing all the time, is what you're saying.
Not yet.
This has been a great interview, and I appreciate you taking the time for us. And again, next year we expect to see you in person. Fingers crossed.